Hey, look at some dance lessons.
Hey, niño. Calladito, ¿ok? Gracias. I told him to be quiet. Bienvenidos a México. Aquí estamos con el grupo LUNDE. And we have also our special guest, Zack Gripko, with us, who's kind of lost his voice from partying so much here in Mexico. Lund is a band in Wisconsin, Wisconsin's first band ever. And I'm Chino, creative not here in Wisconsin, where you're watching, hopefully, or wherever you're at. And Zack, let's start with Zack. Give me a little intro with that nice romantic voice that you have right now.
Hola, bienvenidos. Yeah, I'm just here with the boys on a wonderful trip in Mexico. Usually do video stuff with Lund. Work with Chino a lot. There we go.
Yeah. And so we are in a magical town called Ajijic in Jalisco, the state Jalisco in Mexico. And we've been here for a couple days now. We've gone to Guadalajara. We went to Tequila yesterday, was it?
Yeah.
We have beautiful weather. It's a little windy today. And we're in the pool, so we might be a little sunburned, which is great. So this is
I'm Josh. I play bass in the band Lund.
My name's Nate.
I'm Jeremiah.
and Jeremiah's favorite question: how tall are you?
Which every time he gets a little bit taller. I think now he's at 6'6", 6'7".
At least.
Fun fact: yesterday, as well as being in Guadalajara, was Jeremiah's birthday, and we had a pretty good time. I had a good time. I don't know if he had a good time. I had
Great
a good
time.
I got a gift. Zach bought me this beautiful hat from Guadalajara. We've had great conversations so far wherever we've sat down and had a couple of cervezas, had a couple of tacos and birria and all that great stuff. How do you guys feel being a band in Wisconsin? What's that like?
And just being a band in Wisconsin.
Yeah. Like,
what's
do
it
you
like?
feel like it's different than if you were somewhere else?
Wisconsin's first band.
Yeah, I think so we're in Kenosha, and you're from Racine, obviously. Zach's in Kenosha, and I think being in Wisconsin, it's like a nice, chill place to create. You know, and we're right near Chicago, right near Milwaukee, which is great because we see a lot of shows. We play a lot of shows around the area. Sometimes we got to travel, and O'Hare's right there. But, you know, it's definitely like the scene is smaller. The music scene is smaller. But it also is like there's a lot of opportunities to just kind of get in the zone and just create and not have a lot of distractions and other outside influences.
How long have you guys been together?
We've been together for like 6 years.
Okay, and you two are cousins.
Yeah.
And then where does this guy come in?
Josh and I were just friends. We were in a band before Nate and I started doing stuff together. And so, yeah, he was just like the first guy I thought of, and we all just had chemistry, I guess.
Yeah. And so, like, here you didn't come to play or anything, but you guys still hang out.
Yeah.
And so you guys' relationship is pretty tight?
Yeah, I'd say so. I mean, Jeremiah and I never used to get along, but then when when we started doing music stuff, it all just kind of like fell into place.
Okay.
And not even that we like didn't get along, but we also just didn't see each other at all. Like Nate's a little bit older than I am, and like we just didn't hang out. When Nate was like in high school, he was busy being a cool guy, and I was still like young, so we just like never saw each other. But then we were on a trip. Actually, funny enough, it was in Mexico.
Yeah.
It was on New Year's Eve of 2020 or 2019.
Going into 19.
Going into 19, yeah. And he like just showed me some GarageBand demos that he was working on, and at the time I was just like trying to find something to record really and like work on musically, and so we just started like figuring out how to do music together.
Yeah. Okay. So you write the majority of the songs, all the songs?
Most of them, I'd say.
Okay, yeah. And then you guys been recording in the studio in Kenosha?
Yeah, we were recording in a studio over the summer, and then now we're back in the basement, but hopefully that's changing soon.
Yeah. You guys have always had your I guess your big dream, your big vision on display in social media, and I don't know if that's more Jeremiah's.
That's not
wheelhouse.
me at all. I'm not a social media dude.
Okay.
But
So like, it's kind of interesting to me, like the idea, like the front man being the front man, but then kind of the behind the scenes push is coming from kind of the drummer, and I guess it's kind of a normal thing to like.
I think it just goes to show that it's more of like a collective. Like it's not a single person's vision. It's like all of us really coming together and just having fun.
Yeah.
For both of you guys, if Jeremiah is sort of leading the band in a way, but is in the back as the drummer, and Nate is the front man, do you guys ever find any challenges as far as, I don't know, leading the band? Like, who's responsible for being the voice of Lund, especially like during concerts or, social media presence?
Yeah, I guess I feel like we're in a little bit of a unique situation because, there's people like Tom Petty or somebody like that who like, it's a band, but he's very much the leader, and also like his song direction and like his sort of like creative input is sort of the forefront of that project, and everybody kind of follows him. But then like in our situation, I really, for the most part, just like getting songs from Nate, and they're a lot of times pretty far done. Or I'll hear stuff and say like, keep working on it. But I try not to like get involved and destroy a good thing. But then like a lot of the other stuff, even just like saying, hey, we should get together, hey, we should work on these songs or whatever. So like a lot of that comes from me. But I think we both have to like pay attention to each other and sort of like constantly compromising and communicating like way more than somebody else would, or like a different band. So I do think that like makes us closer, maybe.
Yeah. So Zach has filmed how many? You've done a couple videos for the band. And so how did
Probably
how
like
did that,
half a dozen, maybe
half a dozen?
something
Okay.
like that. Yeah.
So like, how did that? Was that something you were looking for? Something that kind of just happened? You guys ran into each other, and then how did that all like?
Well, I think it began kind of as an accident. Jeremiah met me while I was working on a job, and I was first introduced to him as someone that was interested in almost like an apprenticeship or an internship opportunity. And we kind of quickly became friends, and then I started learning more about him and his band, and I don't know, we sort of like how these guys are talking about riffing when you're performing or playing a song. We just kind of got to riffing in our own way in terms of like video productions, and Jeremiah had some great ideas for videos and things like that, and I was enthusiastic about his enthusiasm, so it was kind of a partnership that made a lot of sense right off the bat.
Yeah. Do you remember those first couple of like pitching to Zach maybe?
Yeah, I don't even know if it was. I mean, there was definitely a period even where Zach and I were just getting together and like hanging out for a really long time, maybe like 5 hours or something, and just shooting the shit, but coming up with a lot of funny ideas, but then some of them ended up being things that we actually did. But also like the more that Zach and I collaborated, and even just me working with him doing other like video stuff, I mean his talent and seeing his perspective, it really like made me think about a whole nother world of possibilities for video stuff. So then I just kept wanting to ask Zach back and back to do more projects, and thankfully he most of the time said yes.
What was our first one? What was
Our first project?
Yeah.
Was it Halloween Blues or?
It-
No, it was the Creative Space live stream, I think, wasn't it?
oh, I think you're right.
Yeah.
But
which was kind of a
Halloween
unique.
Blues was the first music video. That
Yeah.
was fun.
That was the first like thing that we really went hard on. Like you and I really both took it as seriously as possible.
Yeah, but it was still kind of like a funny, silly. I don't know. It was like an Abbott and Costello style Scooby-Doo horror film kind of thing.
Yeah, it was a silly concept, but we actually
it
put our
seriously.
heads together, which was cool. Yeah. And then since then, I think, especially since we finished that, which was our first like big collaboration, and we took it all the way to the finish line, and I think both ended up being super happy with it. Then like the other ideas we had, we were like, let's see if we can do more than this, which we sort of did on the last video we did.
But let's not forget though that it's not just us that is collaborating on videos. It's this talented guy too.
Yeah. What
that's
what
right.
was the first project we worked on together?
As a band, you guys came to the studio and recorded. Was it live? It was live.
Yeah.
And you recorded audio. Zach was also there, and it was just kind of handheld. Those were like not really planned at all,
No.
right?
It was
like,
more just like a concept.
yeah, more fun than that. Yeah, but I want to segue. Okay, first of all, if people want to watch those videos, Halloween Blues is cool videos. You don't just have to watch it on Halloween. YouTube, Lund, LUNDE.
Yeah.
Music. Check out the videos of Zach, directed by Zach. I don't know if all the credits are in there. Probably.
Yeah. Mostly.
But I want to segue into like that idea of like being creative and having those ideas, talking to other creatives about those ideas, and actually making stuff happen. Because I think we've been talking about this throughout the trip about like certain people talking about ideas that they have and wishing they would do these certain things, but it seems like you guys have like actually gone and done that and started at a certain stage and then just kept elevating from there and there and there, and like instead of like saying, okay, we want to do this but we can't do this, so let's not even try. Instead it was like kind of like, well, you kind of envision, have in the back of your mind, this is the big vision, but let's start here.
Yeah.
And then let's do here. And then we go here, and then we go here and here. Do you see, like, you're probably not around these people, but do you see that in creatives that are too scared to do anything because it's not
Yeah.
that top?
It's what
Yeah.
you said, like you can't really bite off more than you can chew. Like it's better to narrow your vision down to like what the first thing that you can sort of accomplish is, and it all, I think, like pieces together over time.
Actually, since you mentioned that, I remember, I forget what video we were doing, but I remember we were, in a friendly way, kind of butting heads a little bit during concepts on a video, because I remember you were getting frustrated that we had two different approaches on how to come up with the concept for a video. The balance between what is achievable and what do we want to do from like a lofty dream perspective. And I think I was hitting a wall where I was not allowing for some more lofty, grand ideas because of the limitations. So I was kind of like keeping things contained and practical. And I think you at the time were kind of pushing the envelope and being like, no, let's dream big. Let's go all the way.
Yeah, I think I've always just wanted to like push the envelope a little bit and not necessarily trying to do one massive project that, you know, is going to be like our masterpiece, but more like trying to come up with ambitious ideas and pushing ourselves to complete them. Because I think like the more things that we complete as artists, the more we learn about ourselves, and the more we feel empowered to go back and then do more of those things. But I also like personally feel like I have a lot of people around me that enable me to like do these things, and like collaborating with other people has been like a huge part of what the Lund videos and just stuff we've been working on has been so far.
And just generally
I
speaking,
thought you were going to talk.
I was waiting for you. But what you said, it just reminded me. We were talking earlier today that creatives and artists, in a lot of ways, are primarily problem solvers, and I feel like that kind of contributes to what you're saying. That a lot of the creativity comes with the problem solving of these great ideas and figuring out how to execute them, and that's
Yeah,
how we make the art.
that's a hard thing because you don't go into it thinking that like, okay, how I have this is cool to look at and I want to do that, but then how do you get there? And I think I've said this to others as well, that people are get scared of like to even try, and like I've heard
It's like a
so
perfectionist problem.
that, and also that people are like they already put themselves down and say, oh, I could never do that. And I've heard it so many times that, oh no, that's cool, but that's not my thing. I can't do that. Or like, you guys are on this level, and I'm just here. And they kind of limit themselves to that. And what I've seen from the people that I've been hanging out with is that, to me, I still get surprised about like stuff that you guys accomplish, that I accomplish myself. That I'm always kind of pushing myself to do whatever. Like this whole trip is like, it's just like doesn't make sense in a lot of ways, but then like when you're here, it's like, oh, yeah, it makes sense, because it's like we've had so many good conversations, and these guys are more quiet here next to me, but I think they've been like listening, and I feel like the things that they have contributed have been like really like meaningful and deep, and like it just feels like it's been a good trip just to like it's kind of push ourselves, inspire ourselves, and like
And
hopefully
that doesn't come totally naturally either. Like it takes a lot of work to get yourself in a position to sort of forget about what you can't do and what you think you're not capable of. Our peers talk about how, oh, I wish I could do something that these people are doing, but I know I can't do that. We as creatives, I think, all still have that feeling from time to time, but it's just a practice of turning that inner voice off and pushing yourself, and that's how we get to do the things that we find fulfilling for ourselves.
And that was kind of the whole thing for me. Jeremiah talked about my garage band demos. I had big dreams, but there wasn't really a way for me to accomplish anything. So I just record garage band demos, and they sit around for a while, and then Jeremiah comes prodding around like, hey, you got anything? And then like I end up showing.
Get your rents due.
Yeah, exactly. But I end up showing him. I for some reason just decided to do it, and it ended up working. Like, you took it farther than I could have done by myself.
Well, and that's kind of like what I was saying before, like with, like needing these other people, or definitely wanting these other people to like be around. Like Josh, for sure. Like you contribute a lot, not only to the music making process, but also like just kind of pushing the band, keeping us honest, and like keeping us together and in good spirits. And it's interesting like how different people kind of like have different roles in these relationships, but that's the different personalities, kind of like what makes it a creative gel work sometimes.
yeah, and it's not all great every time. I'm sure you guys have had huge arguments.
No.
I know I've heard stories of Zach and Jeremiah maybe not ever working again.
We've
but
always gotten along.
How's that well, you guys butt heads, right?
Never.
Okay. Then
Absolutely not. Never. Okay.
In fact, this is the first time I'm ever hearing about this.
You were mad at me? No, I was mad at you.
And I'm mad at Zach.
I'm getting pretty mad right now. You better change the subject, Chino.
Anyways, what are some?
Was there a question in there?
I don't know.
Sorry.
Okay, so what do we do with this? Where we've come from? I know. I hope this podcast is like helpful to people. I've already heard good things about talks with other creatives. When you see people that are maybe like wanting to start stuff, I don't want to get into the more like a motivational, but like maybe there's some motivational thing you think. Because I'll tell you this first before you answer that, because I've heard a lot of people say good stuff about you guys because they admire you guys for doing stuff. They look up to you guys because of the shows that you guys do and the presence you guys have on social media, and they see you guys actually recording music and trying. So, yeah.
I think I was going to say earlier, actually, I thought of it. I think a lot has to do with purpose, especially for me. Yeah, I think like the reason that we're able to stay on some sort of like forward moving trajectory, I'll say, is because we're kind of like focused on that greater picture of not necessarily like any one specific goal, but just the goal of like a creative lifestyle. And I think like we all share that here, right, to some extent. I mean, we were kind of talking about that on the trip a little bit.
Or a motorcycle? Yep. Okay, let's get into the weeds here. Okay, Jeremiah,
I thought we went into the weeds the other day
you
in tequila.
You're this guy who likes these guys to present themselves as rock stars, right? As more of a, not just, the guy at the gym, the guy at Walmart. You kind of you like that presence.
The
right?
image.
The image of it. And I was saying like a brand is like when you see, I don't want to use McDonald's, but that's what's popping in my mind, like the yellow arches and the Ronald McDonald, the clown, right? You see all that stuff, and that's okay. That's McDonald's, all that, okay, and serving billions of people, all that stuff. You wanted that. You're the kind of spearheaded bringing that to the group, and that we filmed yesterday in Tequila. Just some cool images, some cool imagery,
Mostly in the weeds.
and yeah, in the weeds. And I've heard like this other band guy say, he's like, well, all I wanted to do was write music, but now I have to be on TikTok doing like this and that and this and that. So like, how is it? All three of you guys can answer, like, just wanting to play music, but then also having the responsibility of showing off yourself.
So for me, I almost feel like I said this the other day, and now it's not coming to me for some reason.
Yeah.
It almost feels like I have like 3 different like alter egos.
Yeah.
For me personally, so there's like when we're doing band stuff, it's like, yeah, I dress up, I look like the 70s, I wear all the nice shirts and the boots and everything and all that stuff, but I kind of separate that from my personal life as well. So then my personal life is more casual,
Yeah.
like just everyday clothes and whatnot and stuff like that.
And then the third is work. You were saying yesterday.
Oh yeah, sorry. The
Third
third
is
is
like-
like work
Hold on,
clothes.
let's not make this a promotion of JJ Lawn
JJ
Service,
Lawn Service.
Kenosha. At,
JJ's
what's
Lawn
the phone
Service
number?
on Facebook.
262-577-1974. Give me a call.
It's
Don't
like
text, he won't answer.
yeah.
Please text. Don't
Rates
call.
may apply.
How do you feel about it?
I feel like for me, I'm trying to find a happy medium of presenting myself in a certain way, but also living that way. Because you can't write songs if you're not living about it, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I think yeah, there's kind of like there's different responsibilities that you have, and I don't think for us either one is like a different like person, but like Josh said, it's like there's different applications, and
there's like different purposes for each outfit.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah,
like each
and
one has its own, like just personal use. Like,
but we all kind of live that too a little bit, like smelding those together sometimes.
Smelding.
Well, that's a metal when you melt metal.
Melding.
Smelting.
I
Smelting.
think
Welding?
smelt our fish.
what?
Mel-
I think you mean
melding?
no. I think you mean welding.
Not welding. No. But like putting
Melding.
melding. Is that what it is?
Melding.
Melding.
Or
Molding.
Schmelding.
Smelting. Smelting different metals together. You kind of like you push and pull, but it's always there within you, so it's not inauthentic, I guess.
Yeah.
But we try to find the happy balance between just doing stuff that looks good and stuff that is like what we would actually do, because there is like an image with it, with like rock music and just music,
Yeah.
and the content's not always fun to make and like to work on that constantly. Sometimes I think we'd like to just be in the studio, but then once we're done bitching about it, it like has done really good things for us, and we end up being happy with it, I think.
But I think as an entrepreneur and as a creative, you know, a lot of people think that you're doing the dream job, but even when you do have your quote-unquote dream job, it doesn't mean that everything is sunshine and rainbows. You still have to deal with bad customers just like any other business, and you know, it all takes work.
And we'll be right back after this.
Great segue. I'm so glad you asked. Commerce and money.
Topic 2.
Begin.
And we're back. Again, we're in Ajijic, Jalisco, Mexico. Maybe want to look it up. I'm your guide today.
Travel Chino.
travelchino.mx.cuv.com. Okay, guys. Okay, before go back into the weeds. Favorite food so far?
Definitely the carne asada tacos.
Carne asada tacos.
The tacos, probably the chorizo.
How much did they cost?
Like 16 pesos?
16 pesos, about
60 cents, right?
60, 70 cents.
Yeah.
Favorite food so far?
I think the taco joint's got to be the most memorable. It was the first time we went. But the place we went to in Guadalajara was great too, the brewery.
Oh, yeah.
But it's
Loba.
been fun trying like all the different foods.
Yeah. This guy, I didn't know Zach likes sweet so much, but he's
I'm
always.
just an ice cream guy.
That's what you say, but you're having like. Yeah, whatever. Favorite food?
I don't know. It's all been great.
It's all
We
been
did
great.
the math on this. The tacos that we had, the total cost of it, if you had $300 US, you could eat 3 large meals of tacos for an entire year. It's been great.
Yeah.
Amazing. Okay, and what's your what words have you learned so far?
Oh.
Hola.
Hola, yeah, means. What does that mean?
Hello.
Okay, good.
What words are there?
Word specifically? Or what about
What?
a phrase?
A wonderful phrase that you've come up with.
¿Dónde estás aquí?
I'm supposed to come up with a different one?
Yeah, well, I came up with
That was the memorable one.
2 of us, 2 of me, but that's not in
Yeah,
Spanish.
no.
Inside joke.
Word I've learned.
Do you remember the word for bill? Like the tab?
Yeah, you know that.
No, La Quinta?
Very
No,
close.
La,
Cuenta.
La Quinta. Yeah. No, but I can't think off the top of my head. But I have been like picking up on enough stuff where I can maybe, if I need to, I can get around.
Zach?
A new word. Zach was a Spanish major,
I was.
not practicing though. Chino, sort of practicing.
Right.
I learned all sorts of stuff, but there's I learned there's different types of mangoes. Totopos is tortilla chips. That threw me off. I never learned slang, so I've been picking up slang.
Totopos
mostly.
is slang.
I think so.
Okay.
I've never heard it before.
Because I didn't know
I've heard
what.
of
Yeah.
papas fritas.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
chips.
chips.
Totopos,
Other words?
Is that like more specific?
like tortilla chips.
Yeah.
Okay. Great. I'm glad you guys learned something. We learned that there's a Little Caesars here. We haven't tried it. I haven't taken you guys there.
It's supposed to be different than the American Little Caesars.
Better.
Domino's.
Yeah. We hit up all our favorite spots here. We hit up Buffalo Wild Wings, Quick Trip,
McDonald's.
You know, maybe a Chili's.
Chili's. There actually was a Chili's outside Guadalajara.
Oh yeah, there was.
We kept it pretty authentic.
Yeah.
And then
You're supposed to be. You're gonna make me do this. You're supposed to be steering the conversation.
I did. I went
is.
food and
That was
Works.
very subtle.
we got a mess here, guys.
Oh
Zach.
no.
Okay.
I have tissues in my.
Zach's been like this the whole trip. He's really a slob.
Yeah, really messy
Drink
guy.
it.
So Zach is known for Mr. like precise and like I got
According to
this. I
plan.
got this. Yeah. But he made a major fumble. I don't know if he wants us to talk about this. But one of the biggest fumbles maybe in his life, I'm not sure. After a great night of lucha libre,
That was fantastic, by the way. Thank you
Zach-
for.
Zach had the directions. He had it pinned on his phone where our car was. We walk over. We're following Zach. Who's gonna doubt Zach, right? We go over. We find the parking lot that he's told us.
I got it in my phone. It's marked. It's everything. We know where we're going.
We're looking at it. This place is locked up. Locks on all the doors. The gates closed, locked, everything. We're like, oh, okay, we're screwed. We're probably gonna have to Uber 45 minutes home. And we're going around the building looking for a different entrance. We're like, okay, this is horrible. We've messed up. Zach has fumbled. No, we didn't know Zach fumbled. We thought we all had collectively fumbled.
But then the police showed up
Police show up
and bicycles.
on bikes.
Coincidentally.
I stop them. I'm like, hey, this place is locked up. What do we do? Is there a way to get in there and get our car? They're looking at us all strange and like, here? This spot? I don't think you parked here. I'm like, yeah, we parked here. It says over there somewhere that there's a parking spot.
It's marked in the phone. We're here. This isn't the
Yeah.
parking structure.
And I show him a photo that I had taken. Luckily, one of the cops said, oh, no. I know exactly where you should be, but this is not the spot.
Which, how would they know that?
I don't know. Because they're.
But thank God they did.
God bless the police of Guadalajara. But yeah, the police were so good. They escorted us back to the correct parking lot, and now we have one on Zach for the rest of his life.
That's right.
But you know what? I was born with a very poor sense of direction, and in this one instance, my technology failed me, which usually it doesn't. So
Yeah.
I'm deeply sorry,
But
I let you
he
down.
is hydrated because his water bottle told him to hydrate.
Yeah.
I've got the techiest water bottle you will ever find. It
Zach-
lights up and everything.
Zach sometimes has an issue with cars, driving other people around. It's just people don't usually have a good experience. But everywhere else in Zach's life, people love him. He's revered as a very accomplished creative and videographer. He's actually, the show that you work on recently was nominated for an Emmy. Is that correct?
Yes, it is.
But we all have our weak points. But I mean, how was this trip for you, Chino? This is like a semi-regular pilgrimage for you. We stayed with your in-laws,
Yeah.
which was amazing. It was a
They
great
were
setup.
so nice and such good cooks.
Yeah, if they're watching this, thank you. Couldn't have been a better experience. But how was this different from like the other times you went? Different group of people.
Okay, so I think I said like one of my top great memories in Mexico has been the lucha from a past one, and this times was also great, but it was kind of already like, oh, I was hoping and expecting a great time, and it delivered 100%. So
Yeah.
that's the only reason why it's not on the top.
Except Nacho was on the wrong side.
Nacho Libre, for some reason, turned on us. He's a bad guy now. I hope he's watching this.
He might
man.
come back
on.
though. You never know.
Don't do that to us.
It's for the plot.
Yeah. Okay. But yeah, this has been great. These guys are not as big as drinkers as I am, so the tequila tour was not all there because these guys still need to develop that. I don't know what it is. They need to
Acquired taste.
that
That party
acquired
sense.
taste, that that maturity in their palate.
I think us as the chaperones really had to step up in those moments.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's been really good. I'm
What
glad.
did you learn about us?
I've learned that Zach can actually be laid back. It's
Yeah.
You never see that, but he can be laid back.
I didn't believe it. I thought he was sleeping when half the time.
Josh, he says he doesn't drink, but he drinks.
Way to out me, bro.
Yeah.
Impressively so, might I add.
Yeah.
He impressed the bouncer at the place. He chugged a beer
Yeah.
before we left.
Nate, what can we say? Nate is quiet, and then boom, he comes up with these like
0 to
great thing. I don't
60,
know if-
baby.
I don't know if he's sitting there and like just thinking, and then like pops up with these like quotes. He had me pop. The best laugh I've had on the trip was from his thing that he did. That it's too.
We don't need to get
it's
into
too
it.
rated R for this show. But yeah, and then Jeremiah. I don't know about Jeremiah yet. Still getting to know.
Well, I think you learned that he's now a man.
He's
I don't
now a
wanna talk
man,
about it.
but he's still trying to be mysterious in a way.
What?
But,
what?
We wanted to talk about.
That's not. What about Zach? What did you learn about Zach? Oh, he can be laid back.
Yeah.
Well, let's keep it to you. We need to get into that
Mysterious. Yeah. What does that mean?
We learned that Jeremiah thinks paper towels are toilet paper.
Yeah.
We asked this guy to go get toilet
They
paper
look
for
exactly the
houses.
same. They look like double stack.
Yeah. And
Well,
so because
To a guy of this height, I can
Yeah.
see why you just think it's
Yeah.
long
his
toilet paper.
toilet paper is this big.
Yeah, 6'8", right?
What about? That's 6'9" to you. What about me is mysterious?
It's mysterious because you it's like you're saying things that are too you're saying things that are correct. And people yeah.
Wait, direct?
Yeah, it's too direct. It's almost like okay.
It's like almost confrontational. I
Yeah,
would say.
it's like you're like almost and very it comes natural to you.
Unnatural. What do you say?
No, I think he means.
It's like very
You're a
natural
very
to you.
confrontational
Oh,
person
in
naturally.
nature.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. What do you think?
I don't know.
What do you have to say about that?
I don't know. I would want to say something, but it's not in my nature.
Yeah. Okay. We wanted to talk about commerce.
Yeah, we were here the other day and we were having an interesting conversation about how the creativity part lines up with the business side.
Yeah.
Because all of us
Making
are,
that money.
yeah, we're all not home. Oh, Jesus. We'll pause. Oh my God, I just got hit in the face with a pine cone.
Yeah, they've been hitting me.
We're not only artists, but we're also people who are trying to make like a career, a long. Wait, let me start over. I lost my train of thought. We're not only artists and creatives, but we're also people trying to make a name for ourselves and also a career. Um, I mean, what is that? How is that relationship for you guys? And like, where are the trade-offs and compromises?
Say that question again.
What is the relationship like between commerce, your business side, and the creative side? And when do they gel? How do they gel? And when is there compromises to be made?
Well, I mean, there's always compromises. It's a constant dance between, trying to make a living and run a business, and sometimes you lose sight of the artistic side of things and do projects that technically align with your abilities as an artist, but maybe aren't quite as fulfilling. Other times you'll work on things that are more artistically liberating and fulfilling, but don't have any financial gain. I don't know. It's always it comes with the territory. It's yeah. I don't know. What do you guys think about it?
It's very windy, and it is a
The
thing
wind
that
is
you
distracting.
yeah, it's a battle that you always have about like wanting to create, but then like, well, there's no money in there, there's no budget for that. But then how much are you trying to invest into this? When you were a kid, you would create stuff not thinking about, oh, I need to get paid to go to school and be in art
Yeah.
class, and you don't get paid to be in gym class, to you're playing sports and all that stuff. So like you're not taught that you can be an artist and make money. You're taught that you can be you can work somewhere else, a 9 to 5, and make money. But then like, yeah, there's no real way to learn that unless you just learn it on your own with other people around you, your peers.
And I think we all kind of learned that ourselves, kind of the hard way. Um, I think you would all agree with me that, like what you're saying, Chino, I feel like when you're in school and you're sort of told these are the different outlets that you can go into for a career. You can be a doctor, you can be a lawyer, you can be a fireman. And the jobs we ended up in, I don't think, at least for myself, I never thought I could make a living doing what I'm doing, but you just kind of stumble into it. Um, I don't know if this is relevant, but I think this is important. I think sometimes as a creative, sometimes the right choice is not to monetize your your talent and your skill, because once you go down that path, your relationship to that art form changes. Um, Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. If if you're a baker and you like making cookies just for the joy of baking and giving it to your friends, once you turn that into a business, you're it has a completely different purpose. And sometimes, I don't know, sometimes people can get resentful or lose their passion for that thing that they originally loved so much. But um, that's another thing I find myself wavering between, um, loving what I do, but at a personal level, I always want to balance things. And I know I lost my hobby of photography just because it felt too much like work, and I needed that reset. And I'm pushing myself to relearn that and to fall in love with the craft again. But it's always a battle.
Um, yeah, like on this trip, we did some Lund photos just the three of us, and you guys just kept making jokes about how you weren't working on this trip. But it's interesting to me because there is like, Chino, you're in music too, not as actively, but you have been in bands and you get the thing. And we were talking about how there's like a jam thing that happens. It's kind of like you, and it's not just with music though. It's with video. It's with any sort of media where people are coming together and there's a chemistry and it kind of just happens. And it's not about necessarily a big goal, or definitely not like a commerce kind of thing or political thing coming into play. It's just about jamming with each other. But it is a thing that we kind of have to like dance around each other sometimes, because it's like you want to make sure everybody feels that they're getting what they need out of it. And sometimes all somebody needs is, in a certain situation, is just, that creative thrill in the jam. And other times it's like, I would feel so much better if I just got a little bit of money or something. But I don't know if that.
Yeah, and I wanna kind of describe the jam. It's not peanut butter and jam. It's like when you play an instrument and you're not playing a song necessarily. You're playing what you want to play, and you're playing that same thing without communicating exactly what you want from the other instrumentalist, the other musician. I'm not telling the drummer, "Hey, play this way." I'm saying I'm gonna start this, and then the drummer is gonna get it, right? And so
There's a
It's
lot.
more intuitional, right?
yeah, and
There's a
like,
lot of communication going on there.
there is, but
Unspoken.
unspoken. So that kind of is if you've never done it, you probably don't understand it, but it's so like satisfying. Like
Yeah.
when you find people that like you get in tune with, and you can build up a song, and you can take it down, and then you can build it back up, and then you can finish like heavy and strong. It's like it's a I don't know how to describe that feeling, but it just feels very satisfying.
I also
And
think like for non-musicians, it's comparable to chemistry. Like when you meet someone, whether it's romantic or just on a friendly basis, like you just get the other person, and you both can
Yeah.
feel that.
yeah, and I feel like I've seen people talk with each other, and I feel like, man, these guys are this. I can't interject into this conversation because I'm not on their whatever frequency
They're having
on.
a jam,
Yeah, they're
and you're watching.
yeah, and it could be like, oh, this is kind of cringy to me, but them like they're having a great time, or like I might have a conversation with somebody else, and usually it's probably my wife that's like, you're talking about this again, like she doesn't get it. She's not in the jam. She's like a violin player, and we're playing disco, like, or maybe that doesn't make sense. She's playing.
Classical.
She's a classical musician, and I'm a punk kid, and when we can't jam together, so like we find people that we can jam with artistically with photo video, and it's hard to say, well, let's not jam, let's make this work, right?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, I just got hit by something.
I got it.
Thank you. Yeah, so that knocked me off my train of thought.
Well, what is it? I mean, it's kind of hard sometimes, right, to like have a discussion about that stuff. I feel like it's hard to talk about with other creatives. Like the money thing, you kind of clam up. People kind of clam up. But I mean, how can we have a more open dialogue about that stuff, just as like a creative community?
I think for me, speaking on the collaboration, A lot of it boils down to trusting that others are filling the roles that you might not necessarily be able to do, and just trusting in yourself as well that you'll be able to fit into this jam. It kind of just makes me think of, when everyone's kind of in a circle and then they all are like sitting on each other's knees.
Yeah.
It doesn't
Yeah.
work unless everyone trusts each other and they're all doing it. So sometimes it's hard to tell, but I think when it is jamming, in the moment that it's working and you're not thinking about it.
I mean, I don't know. I feel like maybe you could relate to this, Chino. It's kind of like doing the creative thing. It's kind of hypersensitive because I think as artists, we're kind of more sensitive people sometimes. So even if it comes to just working with somebody on an idea, on a project, like sometimes you can have a self-doubt, right? About like, are we on the same page? Like, does this guy is he going to be totally unhappy with this?
Yeah.
But it's a lot. You're putting yourself out there. It's a lot to trust somebody else.
Like shooting this thing right here, where it's like we're gonna clash because I'm like okay with this setup because I kept saying, oh my audience doesn't care about mic placement and all this stuff, and I like doing things good. The other podcasts have looked different, but we're in how many thousands of miles away from home. I'm not bringing a bunch of stuff over here. We're limited thing, and that's okay with me. And then certain people come in, I'm not gonna look at them, right? And say, okay, how about this and how about this? And I'm like, this is good right here, and
I'm just trying to jam with you, Chino.
yeah. It's just like, and that's a small thing. It's kind of like, it's like saying, oh, get the tempo like two beats more, like, or no, keep it 2 beats slower. It's just it's minor thing, but it's still like to somebody it means something, and that's the tightrope that you walk to, like, should I say something? Should I not say
Yeah.
something?
And also like on the commerce, like I'm gonna bring that in too. Like with a more collaborative, maybe a looser thing that's more about the object of creating an art piece. Um, there can be that tightrope to walk too, where it's like, um, okay, well, this person's kind of helping me out too. It a little bit, and it can inform the creative process as well, because it's maybe
Yeah.
we want to do this idea, but you know, that dynamic can be different.
Yeah, and I see that maybe the opposite is that you work with some people and you like working with them, but like the budget's not always there, but you want to still include them. All these noises kind of like throw me off, but
You were saying you want to work with somebody, but the budget's not always there.
yeah. So that's kind of the opposite, I think, of what you were saying. Uh, but it involves the commerce side of like, oh, I want you to be involved in this, but there's no budget here, but then the other person's like, okay, well, I still want to jam out with you,
Yeah.
and then that's where you kind of get into fishy parts of things where like, well, this guy's getting paid this, but this guy's not getting paid, but
Yeah.
this guy wants to do it and he's okay with doing it for free, or
Yeah.
this guy's like, no, I need more money, about like all those things pop up.
But I think it's important too to like really have an open and honest communication when you're doing a collaboration, because as artists as well. By the way, you should just make a compilation of us saying artists, just 5 minutes long. Um, as creative people, I think we have a certain skill set that is extremely valuable, and we deserve to get paid properly for doing a unique service and a valuable service. But at the same time, we all have creative needs that we need to fill, and we can help each other out doing that, and there's no problem. You both doing the video stuff, a little more so than us. There's more money in it for you guys at this stage that we're all at? Because you're doing
Lot
some corporate stuff. Hold on. You guys do corporate stuff, but you also are open to come and do stuff for us, sometimes at a discounted rate. So you're getting all ends
That's
of
one
the
way to
spectrum
put it.
there
That's one way
a
to
little
put it.
bit. How do you decide what things you're going to do and what things you're not going to do?
Well, I mean, that kind of goes into what I was saying earlier. Like, when you get into this field, I heard this before. Sometimes it's for the meals, sometimes it's for the reels. And as, as an artist, to make a living, add that to the count as an artist.
True artist. Authentic artist.
No, but in all honesty, though, in order to make art, a lot of art doesn't pay for itself. So you need to leverage your skills in a different way as a means to an end to fund that pursuit that you're really passionate about. But Jeremiah and I have talked about this a lot recently, that some of us are kind of like growing to a point where our projects are getting larger and we need more help, but the budgets are staying small, and it's always tricky to figure out how to be fair, not only to others that you're bringing on, but also to yourself. And there is not really any right answer, I don't think, except just what you said earlier, just be open and honest. And I think we talked about how on certain projects, sometimes it's like, hey man, I really could use help on this for this particular project. I don't have a lot of money, but I think it'd be a cool jam opportunity. And sometimes that's worth it. But just keeping that conversation going, that, this project, it's not the best, but I could use some help, and I know I have something else on the horizon that one will be for the meals, but this one's got to be for the reels this time.
Well, yeah, and I want to say that it would sound easy to say, well, just ask for more money, right? But it's not. That's not like. And I feel like we've tried, right? I'm not going to say that. Oh no, I haven't tried, because I have tried, and I want to pay people what I feel they should get paid, and I do feel bad for not completely being able to fulfill what they want, or that they want from the job. I just want to add that part.
And it's tough too, because like, we're working professionals and we know what those positions are valued at and what those rates should be, and a lot of times the budget just doesn't allow for it, and you just have to have those hard conversations with those people, with the producers or whoever's backing the projects, and just got to keep everything open and honest.
It's funny hearing you say that. I don't think about you being in that position. I only think about myself being in the position of asking you for favors. And it's interesting, like, because we're on we're on a different side of things. You guys are more in video, we're more focused on music. And for us in music right now, there's even less money than the corporate video stuff. We barely make enough or break even on, doing shows or something, just with the gas we're
But
doing.
You're still in that whole comparison of, like, sometimes you do the work that is not fulfilling or not financially backing what you need. I think you still are doing that. You guys collectively, you have your own businesses. I know you also do music recording and producing for other artists. So even though the band, being a musician, is hard to make a living solely by itself, like, you're still finding ways to leverage your skills in the industry, maybe in a different way, but I don't know. You're selling yourself short.
Well, it's not to say that it's a bad thing. It's just, it's a tough position to be in, because music and videos go so well together. And like, I think we all want to do more with it, but also Like you guys have shit going on and families and tons of jobs, with you, Zach. And so everybody has to be realistic about what they can do. And sometimes you can't do stuff for free. Sometimes you're just too busy, or maybe the jam just doesn't like interest everybody the same. Maybe people want different things out of it.
Yeah, I mean, what you said, it's music and video go together well, but it's also it's important to all of us. I mean, I think everybody's listening to music just about every day. Of course, people are consuming video online or YouTube, whatever, TV, movies every day, right? It's not like it's like I feel like we talk about it like if we're sorry that we charge or we're sorry that we
Yeah.
like this, and but it's like it's such a major part in
Yeah.
in our world where people are sitting around here like on their phones
Just watching videos. But
There's
we live in a
music playing.
culture right now where it's like free to consume
Yeah,
for the most part, in terms like what the consumer's paying. But yeah, you're right. It does kind of create a culture where it's like, you don't feel like you can charge for it. But it's important. It's really important in our culture.
yeah, yeah. Um, should I wrap up?
If you want, we could just keep going.
I
Should
mean,
we
we
keep
could,
going?
yeah, we could keep talking, but I'll do an outro just in case.
Okay.
So, yeah, we talked a lot. This was really cool. It was really windy. I'm not apologizing. I don't care if you suffered through this. Thank you for suffering through this. The people around here were really cool. They let us borrow these chairs. We took them from the Ajijic spot. Thanks for watching. If any questions, leave in the comments. I'll try to answer them because these guys probably won't try to answer them. Look up Lund Music. Zach, what's your?
I think just gripko.com, gripko.tv, whatever.
Something like that.
Yeah.
We'll have that right here. And also, yeah, thank you to everybody. Viva
Thank you.
Mexico.
We were all kind of friends before this, but this was a good group to go with.
Yeah, for sure.
I think we all just got a lot more comfortable with each other, and I said this to you earlier today that when we were at the pool, I'm like, I think this is the first time in 33 years that I've been able to relax. So
Yeah.
it's yeah.
Speaking of Riz, I'll Riz Zach up a little bit. I admire Zach. I've never said this probably to him or publicly, but like I admire him. Like in a way, I can't understand how you on set you keep going. Like, bro, I'm like, bro, relax, bro. Let's like chill. But Zach can lock in on. I hate that I keep using that word, and I don't know how I got locked in to lock in. But
Well,
yeah,
I feel like I got to keep the train moving,
and so I think because you said we got stuff, we got comfortable with each other, but I think I'm getting more comfortable with you on set as well, as in like figuring you out on set, because it's like in the beginning I felt like when we first kind of did like a bigger job together, I felt like I was like, what's going on here? Because it's like I couldn't figure it out. Like I couldn't figure out your dynamic and how my dynamic with yours meshed. But now I felt like the last one was like super good. I was like, man, I'm giving it all here, and I just can't keep up with this guy. Like, but people really appreciate what you do. You get good stuff, great quality stuff, and I think I've seen your work from maybe not the beginning, but close to the beginning of it, and it's improved dramatically, and now it seems like it's like at a spot where it almost seems like it's a peak, but I know it's not a peak. It's maybe just a little tiny peak, and I think you still got a lot more to go.
Thank you, Chino. That's super sweet. I appreciate you saying that, especially because like when you're in in that moment. Like when we're on set, I'm just trying to keep that train moving. I'm just trying to offer the best that I can do, and I feel like I get tunnel visioned in what I'm working on, and I try to ask for feedback, and I hope you have a good experience working with me. I try to accommodate as much as I can, but sometimes I just get lasered into whatever's happening. That hearing that you have a good experience, it means a lot. So thank you.
Yeah, and I've learned a lot from you, and then from what I've learned from you, I try to tell other people. So I think you're not only just out there doing your job, but you have a legacy, or whatever you want to call that. You pass on knowledge from person to person. Stop crying.
I think the special thing for me has been I've only dealt with these two fine gentlemen in shorter spurts, like when we're doing videos and stuff. So it's been really interesting to see, like, Chino, for instance, like how you function, what you think is fun, what you want to do when you're not, in creative mode, when we're just hanging out. And then Zach and I had a really nice walk through the town the other day and got to know each other a bit better. And I feel like the more time we spend together, the more we relate, and the more the jam begins to solidify.
I think we're jamming so good that earlier at the coffee shop today, we heard a song in the cafe, and we both simultaneously started humming a different song that song reminded us of. In time and everything. It was crazy.
I feel like you can only pretend to be a certain way for so long. So when you spend a more extended period of time with somebody and you get to the part where there's silence, that to me is like when I learn the most about my relationship with other people. Like, I don't know how often Chino and I have just sat silently together, and like, I don't know, you learn like what when you're in those.
That's how we communicate. We know how to read each other's minds. And
That's how you want and expect to communicate with others.
You should just know what I'm thinking. I don't need to say it.
Like, I was thinking about this just on the trip, because you two are both a very formative part of my experience on making music videos and in general creativity, taking creativity to a serious level and like a high level. And it's interesting, I was thinking on this trip a lot about the things I've learned from each of you, and I think that they're different and complementary things, traits that you guys convey in the way you work. But it's interesting to hear how you guys are like working together, how that's gelling, I guess.
Yeah. You give it to Zach. Zach, can we try to riz up Jeremiah a little bit?
I need to riz up Jeremiah.
Please don't.
Yeah. Jeremiah, I said that before. He's like a prophet. He didn't like it when I called him a prophet, but it's like how I would describe it, because it's like he sees how things should be. Like, I think the first time it was like when you did the rooftop thing. I mean, it was a copy of the Beatles, but it was still like it was like, okay,
Still a little bit of a scam.
It was pretty unoriginal, actually, now that you talk about it.
Yeah, I guess I'll take that back. No, but I was telling you, like, okay, you're a prophet because you're kind of showing the city of Kenosha or Wisconsin, this is how it should be, and then now
Sort of like a visionary, right?
a visionary. But
Yeah.
I like the word prophet better because it kind of rubs elbows with the church.
I see what you did there.
Yeah. So yeah, that, and also that you've been helpful to me. You in the beginning you didn't charge me as much, and it seemed like you were like very eager to learn, and I learned stuff from like you. Something came to mind, but I can't remember right now. But like more like pushing me to be like, well, I guess Josh Short said it last time, that I kind of pushed him to do it the way I should, or he should do it. and I think you pushed me to do the things to say, hey, you should do it like Chino wants to do it. I feel that from you.
Like, are you s- are you saying like in the way of like trusting your own instincts
Yeah.
on something?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think
And I've not every time you've done that to me, I haven't liked it. Does that make sense?
you haven't liked it every time.
Yeah, every time
But overall,
I'm
it's
like-
been good.
I'm like, oh, why did you say that? But then at the end, it's like, okay, I'm glad you said it.
Well, I mean, Nate and I are basically enamored by you, and Josh as well, enamored by your being,
Your essence.
your essence. I think like you inspire us in like everything, the music we do and the art we do. So like when we were working on video stuff together, I think I was trying to challenge you to just like give us something that was you and not like what you thought I wanted. Because sometimes I see you second guessing
That's
yourself.
what you said a lot to me. Like, give me not what you want, whatever you said.
Yeah, I see you second guessing yourself sometimes, and I want to just in with you a little bit too. Sometimes the things we work together, I want to just be like, no, relax. Like, tell me what you were gonna say. Like, let's play that out and see what happens. Because like everybody allows me the same thing when like we're working on music and stuff.